Title: The Paris Letter. Narration: Michael sat on the edge of his bed in a dimly lit Brooklyn apartment. Rain tapped gently against the window pane. A small envelope lay on the desk beside him, unopened, stamped from Paris and addressed in his own handwriting. It had arrived that morning, but it wasn't a real letter. It was part of a practice he'd started just 3 weeks earlier, after stumbling across the teachings of a mystic named Abdullah and his student, Neville Goddard. Abdullah had said, "You do not beg for your dream. You live from it, now, and refuse to accept the appearance of lack." And so every day since then, Michael had lived in Paris, mentally. He walked the cobbled streets in imagination, smelled espresso from cafes, heard the church bells of Montmartre, and even sent himself letters from a version of himself already living there. Live in the end, Neville had taught. Feel it real, and let the bridge of incidents unfold. Backstory: Michael had always wanted to move to Paris and work as an illustrator, but he had no job offer, no savings, and no visa. Just a stack of rejection emails and a half-dead portfolio. Before discovering Neville's work, he'd been trying the usual ways. More effort, more worry, more burnout. But nothing had changed, until something snapped. He remembered Neville's story about Abdullah refusing to pray for him to get to Barbados, saying, "You're already in Barbados." So Michael decided to be already in Paris. Every morning, he closed his eyes and sat on the same broken stool by the radiator, imagining the feeling of sketching by the Seine. He felt the breeze, saw boats passing, and even imagined speaking French, poorly but joyfully. He wrote letters to himself, pretending they were sent from his Parisian life, complete with fake stamps and dates. He was ridiculed by his roommate. "You've lost it, man," he said. "You're acting like a mental tourist." But Michael smiled. "No, I'm just already there." The shift. One day, Michael got a message on Instagram. A well-known Paris-based gallery had stumbled upon a sketch he'd posted months ago. They were hosting a themed exhibit on urban solitude and invited him to submit more work. No promises, just interest. Instead of doubting it, Michael treated it like confirmation. The bridge of incidents had begun. He sent over his work the same night and mentally rehearsed the email where they'd tell him he'd been accepted. Days passed. Then a week. No reply. His roommate asked, "Still dreaming of Paris?" Michael just nodded. "I'm not dreaming. I'm packing. Breakthrough." On a Wednesday morning, his inbox chimed. Subject line: "We're in." The gallery had chosen his work for the showcase and offered a small travel stipend plus lodging with one of their curators. It wasn't permanent, it wasn't lavish, but it was the gate. The bridge had finished building itself. The arrival. 3 weeks later, Michael stepped out of a cab in the 11th arrondissement. The streets looked exactly as he'd imagined them, because he had. He breathed in the air, not like a tourist, but like someone coming home. And as he unpacked his bag, he found one of the letters he'd sent himself, the one postmarked Paris. He laughed and pinned it above his new desk. It wasn't just a game, it was a seed. Final message. We are always walking through the versions of ourselves we've accepted. Michael's story wasn't magic, it was faith in action. Living as if. As Neville said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that assumption, though false at the moment, will harden into fact. Michael didn't chase Paris, he became it.